What is up? It is Sam coming to you live from where I'm at. And tonight I wanted to talk about Andrew Yang and how the audience that views his content or like most interest by state. And then I'm going to compare that to some polling data per state. And we're going to see how they mesh up to see if the polls are telling the real numbers or if we can see what's actually happening with the data. And I could go either way. I'm going to try to be very objective while I look at this and just give you the facts without putting a ton of conjecture on top of that. But if this is your first time here, my name is Sam. What's up? And if you're returning, it's good to freaking see you. Now, I've made about 10 videos covering a different style or perspective of analysis than most people would probably think of. You can check out the channel if you want to see one of those videos. Using data similar to how I'm going to use data today to really see what's happening versus like what other people say is happening. And it's just an interesting different perspective on what's going on in the market because there's a pretty large discrepancy between what the polling data says and what the actual data says. So that's what we wanted to talk about. And I've made several videos, around 10 videos, covering this type of stuff for the Democratic candidacy for president. And I've had in the past 28 days, I've had over 20,000 views on these videos. 20,000 views on these videos. That's tremendous. That almost makes me feel like it's so big that I'm like, damn, is that even right? Like, that's what I'm thinking right now. I'm like, is that even accurate? 20,000 seems ridiculously high. And if you look at the, that is completely wrong. I apologize. That is for the entire period of time. Apologize. So we've got 600 for 1,000. So we're going to call this about 1,000 views. Not exactly 20,000. Okay, 1,000. So this is not a shitload of data, but it's from 1,000 data points. I mean, it's probably getting near the size you need to come up with some type of relevant something that you can infer from the national data. I would think, at least in the right direction, and we're going to see more as more data comes out how this translates. So on a per state basis, we have the most amount of interest in the videos that I did coming from California, Texas, New York, Florida, and Illinois. That's the top 5 in terms of interest in this on my channel. And this is just a side note, the amount of average view time for this style of video or covering Andrew Yang is on average more than 2 times as interesting, I guess, because people are watching 2 times longer. Instead of 3 minutes and change, like 3 minutes and 3 seconds, a lot of these videos, I mean, a couple of them are 5 minutes or around 30 seconds, but there's a lot of them in the 6s. There's one that Minnesota watches my videos on average for 8 minutes and 45 seconds. That's amazing. Thank you, Minnesota. Thumbs up for this shit. Which these numbers are tremendous. I've never had numbers this high on my channel, which is kind of interesting. And a complete tangent off of this is the videos around this topic and this style of analysis also garnered somewhere around 5 to 6 times more engagement than my other videos on average. If I have I think I probably have, just guesstimating, engagement on my videos in general is around 0.5%. Meaning if you have 1,000 people watch your content, you get about 50 that might interact, right? And I don't know if this is accurate or not. This is just kind of for example. Versus these videos around the president candidate primary race and this style of video that I've been doing with this unique analysis approach, the I had completely lost my train of thought. Oh, the engagement on that is 5 times greater. It's like 2.5% of people out of like say 1,000 people, you have 250 people who are engaging, whether that's pressing the like button, whether that's commenting, or whether that's sharing. So thumbs up for that. Now, getting back to this real quick, we're going to go to look at the national polling data, and then we're going to dive into each individual state and comparing that back to the data on my channel around the interest and just see what that story tells. Okay, on a national level, we have Biden way up front, then Sanders decently below him, and then Warren and Harris, and that rounds out the top 4, and then Bugatti, somebody else, I don't know how to say his name, and he's 5th. Now, when we come down to California, we'll start there, because that was the macro. Now we're going to step it in a little bit. In California, it's changed a little bit, where it's Biden-Harris, because Harris was, I think, 4th on the national poll. Yes, she's number 4 on the national poll, but in California specifically, she is number 2. Warren is number 3. So that is kind of cool that the top 3 people, 2 of them are women. That's kind of cool. Sanders is number 4, and the other gentleman with a B, he is number 5. Now, if we come back, and then Andrew Yang is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's ranked 6th. Here, but remember when we looked at the data on my channel, the actual interest is the greatest in California, so that was kind of interesting. And you can't really. I'm trying to compare things, and you can let me know how. I should have prefaced this in the beginning, but you can't really compare. The interest on my YouTube channel with the interest on these polls, because I'm not I'm not comparing interest around Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren and Harris on my channel as well. So you can't just draw like an apples to apples comparison, because they're 2 different things, and I'm not trying to lead anybody down that path, because that would be incorrect. But I just wanted to draw that little bit of a distinction. Next, we jump over to Texas, and Texas is Yang is ranked 1. But in Texas, it's interesting because it's got this person is O'Rourke is number 2, and that person wasn't even in the top like 5 or 6 in the other one. So that's kind of interesting. This dude's polling very well, or dude or gal. I have no idea if it's a guy or a girl. That's how little I follow politics. But Yang is ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places back. Wow, that's pretty substantial. But that actually kind of looks like the national average for Yang, because the national average, I think they have the newest poll that came out today, had him at 6th. So it's near there, but if you look at the average over the last few polls, he was 8th. So it's in that range at least. Now Massachusetts was actually like 7th on mine in terms of interest around Andrew Yang, and Texas was number 2 on mine around interest. But in Massachusetts, it's Biden, Sanders, and then Warren, which I thought was kind of interesting, because this is, Elizabeth Warren, I live in Massachusetts, and Elizabeth Warren, I believe, is a senator here. So to have your competitors, so to speak, Sanders and Biden, polling better than you is probably not a good sign for Elizabeth Warren looking forward. I mean, just this data, when was this out? Oh, these polls are a little bit older, a month or so. So this could have changed a decent amount over the last month, but even so, to still be ranking that poorly, I feel like the interest in politics has only gained momentum probably over the last month anyway. Anyways, so you